David. Oh, hold on a second.
Mhm.
Yeah, but I was going to let him know right quick. We're just getting started. Okay,
Okay.
so yeah, I had some awesome stuff that came to me today, and so I was just kind of like taking notes on it,
Mhm.
and it was basically on the dual nature of reality,
Mhm.
and oh, updating the hologram.
Mhm.
Yeah, so I mean, it's really cool. So I mean, if you've heard anything
Interesting.
about, being, what do you call it? Uh, we actually, our reality is like dual in nature.
Mhm.
We are like dual in nature. So it's kind of like, we live, in a body when we're first introduced here. So basically, we're all sitting around going, okay, we're human, and we're looking, at things, at a certain perspective.
Mhm.
And basically, we really don't even realize, that everything that we've learned, from the moment we came here, we come as a blank slate. So
Mhm.
everything that we learn from the moment we come here is like it's conditioning. You know what I'm saying? We don't really realize, or we don't remember our dual nature. We don't remember, we don't really know who we really are. We just come here thinking, oh, human, we're looking around, we're seeing what's on the landscape. And depending on, how you've been raised or whatever,
Mhm.
you'll just think to yourself, well, this is the way things are. If you come from a, say, a poor family, then you may expect to be poor. Some people break out of that. Some people don't believe that. Some people, they bust straight out of it and they never think another thing about it. Like look at MJ, a lot of people, that came from, you know, impoverished or either close to poverty, and they came from single parent households, and things like that. You would kind of expect, but like I say, that's just a definition. It's a preconceived notion. It absolutely doesn't have to be true.
Mhm.
But, we have, and even, these statisticians, sit around and say, uh, uh, so many percentage of children coming from single parent households are going to be, at the poverty level or worse. You know what I'm saying? They're all definitions, and they're all sitting around here, projecting this opinion, you know what I'm
Opinion.
saying? Yeah, into the reality, and thereby creating that as a reality. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
So that's what I was saying about updating the hologram, because we're living in a hologram.
Mhm.
Nothing really is real. Nothing here is solid. That's what I came to realize,
Mhm.
and that, I mean, it seems so real, because we actually projected ourselves here, and this is all we've known from day one. So it's like, it's so, and that's something that I'm trying to grasp even more, is like, I look at things, and you look up on, like, for instance, I'm looking over on the top of a house right here next door to me, and
Mhm.
there's a bird sitting right at the tip of the roof. He's sitting like right here at the tip of the roof, and he's just sitting there
Ooh.
chilling. And I'm like, you know I'm seeing this, and I'm saying, how can that not be real? You know what I mean?
Hmm.
So,
Yes.
it really, it takes, what I'm saying, you really have to come to the knowledge, that you have to accept what it really, it is what it is. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
And it's harder, in some some fashion, because you're just like, you know, I've been looking at this stuff my whole life. And for me to say to myself, well, dang, this really isn't real.
Mhm.
you know, it's just
Definitely.
hilarious to me. I mean, how is that possible? But I mean, I'm just, I'm scraping the tip of the iceberg basically on this stuff. And it just really came to me. I'm like, this is amazing. But I mean,
Mhm.
it wasn't as, I mean, but it was definitely as a result of listening to various different people, so on, and studying, duality, non-duality, different types of consciousness, so on and so forth, until I finally realized, that, oh, and this is what really helped me to really know that what was being said was true. Because I was telling you guys last week about how, um, what is this? Okay. I was telling you guys last week about how, the things that had happened for me, it was just as a result, all of a sudden, as a result of me changing my perception, you know what I'm saying? My projection. So it was like, as I started to kind of realize that, moment by moment by moment by moment, we're just seeing frames, you know what I'm saying, of projected reality.
Mm-hmm.
And so nothing is solid. You can't, no one can say, I mean, unless that's just your perception, then it is so. Whatever you deem to be real is real to you. You know what I'm saying? So I can see where it would be difficult for a lot of people to kind of understand this, because until they update, their perception, you know what I'm saying, and unless they're willing to update their perception, then some of these things will not come clear, you know what I'm saying, and then and even it will be rejected, you know what I'm saying, because people don't really realize, or they don't want to realize, that that's what it's really all about.
Mm-hmm.
So when people are walking around looking at things, they feel like what they're looking at is happening to them, but in reality, it's the reverse. They are actually happening to the reality. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Because reality is like a mirror. It reflects back what you put in. It's like a consciousness program. I got to write that
Mm-hmm.
down. Hold on a second. I got to write that down. This is a consciousness reality program. I'm telling you.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah. This is a oh. Oh, man. And so, oh, wow. Give me a second, because I'm still sitting here trying to, my computer, this one, I have two computers, and one of them, I have to really work with it. Sometimes I'll be typing something, it won't even be responding to what I'm typing.
Okay.
What is this right here?
Oh, buying food's done.
Okay, good. Thank you so much. What's the deal? I don't want that. I just clicked on something that took me somewhere totally different. This
Oh.
is a reality con. Okay, we gotta learn how to spell too. This is a reality consciousness program. Okay, so basically, I just started like this. I mean, we live by a dualistic frame of reference. I mean, and once you begin to realize that you basically are source energy exists. It's also dual in nature too, that it is both existence and non-existence all at one time. But in order for source to experience itself, it must fragment itself in order to put up, we're out here as, I guess what you would call an individual, you know what I'm saying, as a fragment off of source energy or God or universal consciousness, the creator, whatever, like I said before, you really want to call him. Oh,
Mm-hmm.
boy, this phone is ringing. Okay, so in other words, what is that? I'm like, what? I need to shut this shit up. I'm trying to make a point, and this shit is over here ringing like somebody fucking crazy.
Oh.
So when I thought I had hung the phone up, I said, I'm trying to make a point. This thing, what is that?
Oh,
Again,
somebody's
who the hell is that?
Oh, it's got to be somebody who actually wants to talk.
That's what I'm saying. So hold on a second. If this ain't an emergency, somebody get ready to be like, well, look, I'm on a podcast. You know what? This is missing me. I know who it is. Never mind. Hold on, let me tell her right quick.
We're not on air yet, so we're good.
Yes, we are. Hello?
Yes, we are.
It's off air right there.
We are on air.
Oh, man.
Miss Anita, I'm going to call you back. I'm on a web conference right this minute. Okay, thank you. Bye. I was like,
Leave that off the hook.
I was going to say, I'm evidently, excuse me, I'm evidently going to have to. Anyway, that was hilarious, because I thought I hung it up, and I was like,
Oh, it happens.
oh my God. Okay, so, hold on. Man, that was some funny stuff. So anyway, so I mean, it's just amazing once you start to realize, you know what I'm saying, like who you really are, and what this consciousness, what this projection really is, it
Mhm.
makes you start to see things in a totally different light. And so
Definitely.
yeah. And so it's like, okay, the self that I perceive myself to be is what they call the ego personality. So the fragment that I am projected into this holographic reality as is what you would call Tala. You know what I'm saying? What you're projected into the consciousness reality, this, projection, holographic projection reality is Amara.
Mhm.
And then David would be the ego personality, or what he's projecting into this consciousness,
Baby Janko.
holographic or whatever. I'm just saying, if you want to be Baby Janko, hey, you know what I'm saying? Beyonce is Sasha Fierce. You know what I mean? Different people are projecting various different things, and there really is no right or wrong answer. And why are we even judging this? You know what I'm saying? And that's the next thing. People would judge that and say, well, why do you want to call yourself this when we know you is that?
Mhm.
Why not? That's that person's, that's their, what they want. That's what they see in their reality. So, hey, who am I to judge what you say that you are? You can do what you want to do. It really doesn't matter.
Mhm.
All right. So, okay. So basically, we're all projecting ourselves here basically to have an experience, to experience. You know what I'm
Mhm.
saying? And like I said, there's no right or wrong answers for anybody. I'm reading from my notes. That's why I keep looking over here, because I didn't want to miss anything just in case, because I think it's all important. And basically, oh, I already covered that though. However, anyone wants to, to choose to project themselves is up to them. The funky thing is that most people don't realize what, that's really what's going on. And so, we view a lot of things, that are happening within our world, and we look at it and we say, like, say for instance, poverty. We look at that and we say, oh my God, poverty, and we attach this definition to poverty, that definition to poverty, this definition to poverty. There's 101 definitions that we attach to poverty, but the the holographic projection of the people who are here in poverty, that was source wanting to experience itself you know what I'm saying, as impoverished, just as equally as well as there are people who are insanely rich. So source is projecting itself here, and it's just, the whole thing is that no, you don't remember it, because when you come as a blank slate. When you're fragmented from source, you forget, you know what I'm saying, where you came from, basically. And so that is basically, I guess it would kind of sort of be like the objective, of all people, or projections, or ego personalities, is to realize that, you know, you made a decision to come here to experience whatever you came here to experience. However, it doesn't have to be that way. You can think another thought. And so, to the average person who doesn't know that, the reality is of a dualistic nature, would even listen to me say that and say, you mean to tell me, so you're trying to tell me that people who are in poverty actually chose to be that way? I know it sounds totally insane. And I even find it, I was like, how the thinking man was like this right here? I said the same thing when I thought about it. I said, you mean to tell me, wow. So that means if Source chose to come here and fragment itself from itself to have an experience in the holographic reality as this person, that person, this person, that person, so then that would mean that this person actually chose to come here and fragment itself from well-being, the source consciousness of the entire universe, and experience these things right here. And it's kind of almost blows your mind. But
Mhm.
then I just had the second thought. The second thought was is that once you actually are finished with this reality that you choose to experience in your consciousness projection in the hologram, you're actually going to return back to source and all will be made. You know what I'm saying? You'll finally come to realize, you can either realize that you are source and well-being while you're here as a physical projection of yourself, or when you leave the physical body, in an instant, just like that, you'll be updated, you know, and realize that, wait a minute, I went and had that experience. I could have changed it if I had wanted to, but, you know, a lot, like I say, now that's the part that actually is, I guess I want to say it kind of says, I'm like, damn, that's kind of sad, you know, because just to think that you could spend a whole lifetime here on the planet. And just imagine how many people have spent lifetimes here on the planet and went through a whole entire lifetime, experienced, you know, one particular thing. Maybe they were born in poverty and died in poverty. Maybe they were born in wealth, died in poverty. Maybe they were born in, you know, poverty and died in wealth. You know, you just don't know. But I mean, of course, the better thing would, but you know what? The whole thing is really, it's not so much the state of physical projection that you're really in, but really your state of being, you know what I'm saying, that's really important while you're on the planet, because you can be the poorest person in the whole wide world but be full of more joy than the richest person in the whole wide world. There's some nasty, you know what I'm saying, we have all witnessed all kinds of nasty people across the board, you know what I'm saying, in attitude. And it really doesn't matter what your economics status is, you know, this is all a choice. Every moment is a choice. You know, when something happens, some people choose to say, okay, you know, hey, no big deal. I'm going to be joyful regardless of my circumstances. Some people have that ability, and it's a beautiful thing. And then there are some people who may have everything in the world, but they're always moaning and groaning, and it seems like they're never satisfied. And we all look at that and go, well, damn, aren't you blessed? You know what I'm saying? Why are you so upset? You know, so I mean, it's just like, but, you know, but when you recognize who you really are and who everyone else really is projecting themselves as in the hologram, you say to yourself, you can take a step back and say, you know, that person really actually, I guess, is choosing to project themselves in that way. So, you know, although it might be foreign to me and I might not appreciate it or enjoy it, but you know, really, to be honest, it's their choice. If that's what they want, then what can you do? You know what I'm saying? You just have to kind of sit back and look at it and just say, okay, well, hey, do your thing.
Exactly.
Yeah. I just got to thinking about how I slammed that phone again. That was crazy. Okay, anyway. But I mean, does that make sense?
Oh yeah, definitely, definitely. But it'll take a while for people to, you know, break down those obstacles within their psyche, especially if they've been taught that, you know, reality is what you see before your eyes. So
exactly. That's exactly what I'm talking about. It does take time, because believe me, I've been here for a while. You know, I've been projected up in this consciousness hologram for a minute, okay? I ain't super old, but I've been here for a minute. And I'm just saying. I mean, you know, I've been here long enough to know. I mean, I did all of this, but I kind of did it from the perspective of Christianity, you know what I'm saying? And and that was another thing I meant to mention too. Now that I think about it, actually, that's still all a conscious choice. That's your choice. I actually, now that I think about it, because I used to say, well, damn, you know, why are people locking themselves down to particular types of dogma? And I thought about, you know, Islam. I thought about Christianity. I thought about all these, you know, isms and, you know, types of religions. But hey, whatever. You know what I'm saying? If Christianity, Buddhism, Islam, whatever else there is out there, if that's what floats your boat and rocks your world, rock on. You know what I'm saying? I don't have nothing to do with that, you know, and nobody else should judge it either. So I said, I'm going to stop doing that. I'm done. Because until now, I didn't understand why people are choosing these realities. That's their choice, and it's not for me to judge. So I'm done. Yeah.
That's true. That's true.
Exactly. Yeah. So, I don't have nothing else to say about it. And then let's see. Oh, yeah, back to that thing about coming here as a blank slate.
Mhm.
I was saying that in my notes, sorry.
Mhm.
Due to the interaction with others, we learn and adopt the characteristics and beliefs and definitions of people around us, especially parents and then your peers. You know what I'm saying? So we really have learned over time to look at and perceive situations through the beliefs of other people. You know what I'm saying? How many of your beliefs can you actually pick through and say, this is my original belief? You know what I'm saying? When you think about it, this was my original belief. This is not something that came from something my mother did, something my father said, something my friends told
Well,
me.
there are a lot of things that I have to disagree with you on, because there are some things that I have thought of myself that I haven't
Well,
else. Now I might Google it, and then I might see that somebody else has thought of it at some point.
hmm
But a lot of times I'll just be thinking about stuff, and then I'll come to my own realization and then believe that, and then I don't see where anybody else really influenced that into me. It's just something that I kind of came to. So I don't know
hmm
about that.
Well, yeah, well, that's what I'm saying, but see, I still feel that you yourself are on a path of, what I'm saying, of consciousness to a degree, you know what I'm saying? But, well, yeah, I mean, I'm not saying that every belief that you have, but I'm saying I would say the majority of most people's beliefs, like even what you were saying about when you look at the difference between the liberal politics website and you look at the difference in the conservative politics website, most of these people are feeding off of a certain body of perception, you know what I'm saying, or perceptions or perceived notions, about this reality, and they're all kind of bouncing around in those same, those two spheres,
Mhm.
and they don't really mesh too much, because they're polarized to these ideas, these sets of ideas. And if you notice, if you try to interject, a particular idea to a conservative point of view, or vice versa, if you try to inject a conservative point of view into a liberal person's set of belief patterns,
Mhm.
usually, and more than likely, I would think that they're probably going to, by and large, reject a lot of it, unless they are really conscious and they're like, I have the ability to hold my set of beliefs, but yet still be willing to listen to someone else and ponder that for a moment to see whether I want to deal with that or not. You know what I'm saying? Because if you notice, religion, politics, and there might be a couple other subjects that most of the time when people get to talking about that kind of stuff, they are staunchly polarized about whatever it is they believe, and it's very, very hard to move them from that reality, because they're like, no, this is the way it has to be, and I'm not anything outside of those parameters. I'm not accepting. I'm rejecting all of that. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
If you think about it.
Yeah.
And so, yeah. I already talked about the poverty thing, about people, polarizing about the idea about poverty. People are going to have certain reactions based upon whatever they've learned and adopted. And I think the same is true of all holographic reality, so it really doesn't
Now,
matter.
at the same time, are you adding in, or are you believing that this is different from, or do you think this is a part of, or do you think this is separate from, or do you think that this dominates over the influence of, stars and planetary alignments and things like that in people's lives?
Well, that's something I have not had a chance to ponder or consider, because, I don't know. I'll have to look into it, because I don't know if whatever star you're born under. I mean, I think that, but like I said, I think that we're projecting a certain body of beliefs and stuff into this reality. And then again, that I just thought there are no wrong or right answers. All of it is equally valid.
Mhm.
So if we have a mass consciousness that believes that a person was born under a certain star or whatever, and therefore they may have this set of behaviors or whatever. I think that that's just as valid of a reality as anything else out here. There are some people who love astrology and believe in it. It's like a religion to them. Then there are other people who they won't touch it. They're like, nah, I don't believe that. Whatever. Don't want to hear it. So
Well, I mean,
it's.
there's certain houses and alignments and
Mm,
various different conjunctions and trines and things like that that make people more, skeptical to more spiritual things or more
mm,
open to more spiritual things. So, I
mm,
mean, that can explain right there why somebody might not, agree with some of the things in the zodiac just because they just have a tendency to be more uh, opposed to things of that type of nature, or simply because they have that more hesitancy within them, in that alignment. And
mm,
what I found interesting is that, to I wouldn't say go against, but I would say just to add and make sure you're considering that.
mm.
Remember when you look up any of these, birth charts and things like that. I mean, generally it's always,
I'll be
was that a
right
spider or something?
back. Oh no, it's thunder and lightning. I don't think I should be on my computer right now. Is
Oh,
it safe
uh-oh.
to be on the computer with
I
thunder and lightning?
don't know. Is your computer hooked up to a surge protector?
No,
Oh, uh-oh.
not
Well.
at all.
Is it a laptop that you can run on battery?
Well, no, I'm charging it now because it was a low battery. So,
Oh, uh-oh. Well, we better wrap it
um,
up. I better make it quicker. So,
oh, no worries. Like I can see, like as soon as the thunderstorm passes or something, I can probably get back on. Hopefully, it's
oh,
not that.
yeah, hopefully it's not that bad. Oh, yeah, that's right. It passed through here like an hour to an hour and a half ago. It rained so hard. It was ridiculous.
Oh.
I actually went outside in the rain because I have some little rain collection buckets that I keep at my garden. I actually went
Mhm.
outside with my umbrella because there was so much water pouring off my roof and stuff that I was like, I'm about to collect me some extra rainwater. So I
That's
went out there with my
cool.
buckets and I was filling up my little things and I was like, hey, I got like 6 gallons of water now. It was awesome.
Awesome, awesome. Okay, so I'll just get off because I know it says that there's a severe thunderstorm
Oh, so it's getting
coming
bad.
through.
Okay. Well,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. Okay.
Okay. Well,
Well,
no
we'll see
problem.
after a while. I'm
Okay,
just
no.
gonna keep yakking. You know what? This is also gonna be on the website too. So even if you miss the rest of it, I mean, hopefully you can come back. But even if you miss the rest of it, I mean, it automatically gets uploaded to the YouTube channel, so
Mhm.
you can always watch the rest of it later.
Okay, okay, awesome.
Shameless plug.
Awesome.
Okay.
All right. See you guys later.
All right.
Bye.
See you later. Okay. And so where was I? Oh. So I don't know. The thing I realized that what we see is pretty much 100% subjective. It's 100% subject to how we choose to perceive whatever scenario we encounter, and that includes like people around us. So if you have people coming into your reality who you're kind of like interacting with or whatever, it you know it can be as a result of I don't know, maybe even pre-birth type of decisions that were made. That part I haven't really consciously thought about too much either, but maybe something might come to me. But I'm not opposed to astrology. It's a nice thing. Like I said, there's really no right or wrong answers. I mean, with religion, with politics. I mean, however, you know, there has to be, I would imagine, some type of order to things, for things to work in a physical universe or whatever. I would imagine that there would have to be some sort of construct, you know what I'm saying, politically or socially, um, astrally, whatever. I'm sure there are different constructs, that actually make a whole lot of sense. It's a good thing to have governing, figures and things here on the planet, because otherwise, if you did have a whole group of people who knew that they could project just about anything, they would pretty much just project anything, and it could be just like complete chaos, I would imagine. So I do not disagree with, you know, any of the things that are like in place. It's okay. It's no big deal. So what I came to was the conclusion of was that, so basically, if a change is desired, in your perception, then a shift in your perception is actually required. So basically, essentially, a person would have to let go of preconceived notions about what happens next. So in other words, when it comes to updating the hologram and your reality, your projected reality, in other words, you would have to stop and take notice of the thoughts that you're having. If the thoughts that you're having moment to moment do not agree with the reality that you wish to create, then you must take a moment with each thought and say to yourself, now, is this serving me? Is this thought actually going to help me to project what I would like to project into this reality? And then if it's a thought that's not of your conscious liking, then I would say, if you choose to change it and if you want to see something different, then change it. If not, then let it ride, whatever. Like I said, there's really no right and wrong answers. And then let's see. Then you have to
Bomb.
realize what?
Are you sure? All right, now are you sure this is going on air? Because that thing right there says off air.
No, it's on air. It says stop, because the bottom of my screen says stop broadcast. At the top of my screen, it says live. Yeah, it's on here. So anyway, so basically you have to fill in the blank. What do you want to see next? Fill in the blank. Whatever you want to see next in your life, fill in the blank. Knowing who you are and what you're capable of doing, then fill in the blank with the thoughts that you would prefer to see. And do not allow your blanks to be filled in with things that you don't really have any desire for. Why do that if you have that kind of power, in this reality? So I don't know. That's just it's the realization that I came to. And so I put down, if you can grasp this concept, then you will basically be able to immediately see what is desired rather than what is undesired by changing the frame of reference. So then basically, therefore, you will have to decide what you're wanting to release and let go of as far as your frame of reference. So you would have to think of it this way. Problem? There is no problem. Only if you choose to see one. Otherwise, there is no problem. And that basically reminded me of a basic computer program that I learned about, like when I was first taking computer applications in college. And it was kind of like a program string that went like this, kind of like in Java code. And it said, if problem, semicolon, then problem. So in other words, it's like an input output code for a computer. And it's the same thing with mental consciousness. If there's a problem, if you perceive that there's a problem, then it equals the problem. You know what I'm saying? So you have to look at your consciousness program the same as the input of a computer program. If there's a problem, if you perceive that this is a problem, then yeah, what your perception grasps it as becomes the problem, a problem. And then the rest of the code goes else. So in other words, or no problem. So in other words, you've got those two choices. You can either make it a problem, perceive it as a problem, and make it actually turn into a problem, or you can see what you might perceive to at first be a problem and say, oh, actually that's no problem. I'm not even going to take that as a problem. We're just going to do something else here. We're going to update the hologram by choosing a different reality. So anyway, so my last thoughts were, you basically are constantly updating the grid with your current thoughts and emotions. So I was just saying for people to ask themselves, what are you thinking about at this very moment? And this is a reality consciousness program. So that was pretty much all I wanted to say. Wow. I just got to think again about how that phone call. Excuse me. I thought there was going to be somebody calling to try to sell something, because every time I pick up this phone, it's like, hello, my name is Representative Jack Bowers. Please vote for me in the November election, blah, blah, blah. So I was like, in effort to hang up this phone and stop this thing from ringing, I'm getting ready to just hang it up. And then when it started ringing again, I was like, wait a minute, what the heck? So anyway, but I mean, that's pretty much it.
Well, in broadcast.
Yeah, pretty much. Good night. Thank you for watching Mental Magic. Namaste.